First, you would want to make a template just like this, which would be about 43 inches long, and then get a piece of wood that would be a little bit bigger than that so you can cut it out on. This blade is coming along real good, as you can see. I'm almost done, and I will soon show you the finished product. Now, since the blade is pretty much cut out, I am going to sand down the handle to the lines that were on the template. And then they're there. You gotta sand this lower than these two lines so these stick out, and then this lower than these so that sticks out. To accomplish this goal of sanding down the handle, you can use things such as file or sandpaper, or if you really want to, you can use a Dremel. After you sand down the part of the handle where you're gonna put your hand, excuse me, you need to sand down this part in between these two lines on this side and this side. Make sure to keep this line raised at the very bottom of the blade for design purposes. I would also probably suggest using a file on these edges up here, because since they're small edges and you can fit most files inside edges this big. Now I will start to do the engravings on the bottom lines of the handle on both sides of the bottom of the handle. Make sure to sand on the outside, not on the inside, because these are supposed to stick out and not in. And this one too. All the lines that are thickened are supposed to stick out and not in. Also, you guys should remember that this line that I actually just completed should go like this and connect all the way around, somewhat similarly, I don't even know if that's a word, excuse me, to this side. See, because my old line was right there, and it ends right there, and that's obviously really off, so you need to make sure it's relatively close to one another. Same thing with this. This is like a curve here. So on this side, it's going to connect curve to top of the curve to top of the curve, and then it's going to go down here. And you don't indent anything else but the outside on here too. So you just come around on both of these and on this side. Well, I have not really been finding a lot of success with the fine-tipped engravers, but I will probably end up moving to these two, the one I used before and a bigger one, just to get depth in where I am engraving to make that pop out. Now you should have something that looks like this. I drew those lines on the blade and right around here just to get a reference on where the blade starts so I know where to sand it down. Just remember that if you're sanding this down to make it thinner like a real blade, the inside along this line and along that line have to be sharp, like at an edge, like on how we would do in the blade of woe, but not like so, how you have to sand one side more than the other. This, you just pretty much have to swoop it down. And on the back, you have to sand it, but not as much as the front. Also, just like in the Blade of Woe tutorial, you can take this blade and put it in a vise and actually just file it down to a point, but file it at an angle equally on both sides. Now we will do the engraving, which would go up onto the blade next to the sharp part. The part that's shaded darker than the lighter part would be engraved deeper, and then it'll stop and go as lightly engraved as possible. Now that you are done with that side and this side, you can start to shave down the back of the blade up there. And shave it down not to a sharp end like there, but to a round end. Obviously close to as thin as this, but not as thin. Now, excuse me, that you have sanded down pretty much the whole blade to make it look how it's supposed to look, you can start on the engraving on the handle by merging these lines with this part of the handle and pressing this part of the handle down to match those two lines on the bottom and the top. And make sure when you do this part that you have to make this line merge into the sharp part on the top of the handle. So there's not a line here, it's just one big point. Now, since the bottom of the handle is merged, we can start to cut out the engravings on the hilt and merge those. Now you can start drawing the engravings from the template of the blade on the back of the blade and on the handle right along here to here, and from here got along this side onto where they're supposed to on the front and back of this blade. When you try to paint the blade, you should mainly do on these lines that are going to be sticking out. You should get the tip of a sharp point like a lead pencil or a really sharp regular pencil and just lightly go over these to make sure not to get it down here just on the line. And then same thing for here, since these ones are going to be indented, just take the tip of the pencil and lightly put them in the inside, and then later get another pencil and go around it with black, not on the line but around the line, so then it'll be looking good. And then you can take a paintbrush and go over this and the big spots up here, and then you can blend some silver and black and whatever you want along this side. Same goes with the other side of the blade. I'm just showing you this side for now. Yeah, but like I said, once you're done getting these little spots, you don't have to get the paintbrush, or you don't have to get the pencil with black on it and color this. You can just get a paintbrush, go all the way around the handle, get in through here on the blade, and you can get that done. So that would be the way to paint it. Me and my brother are really ready to do a lot more from what we've done with the blade of woe and this dagger. So like, comment, subscribe for more Skyrim and video game props.